Hello, my dear bachas. How are you all doing? I know your exams are just around the corner and you're all studying so hard. But don't you worry, I am here to help. Today we are going to tackle one of the most important chapters in civics, electoral politics, and we're going to make it super easy and fun. Ready? Chalo, let's start.
I know. This chapter can seem a little heavy, right? With all the details about elections and commissions. But are we stressed? Arre, bilkul nahi. Not at all. Together, we're going to break it all down into simple, bite-sized pieces. Trust me, you'll be an expert in no time. I promise. You know, the best way to understand anything is with a good story, isn't it? So let's forget about all the boring definitions for just a minute. I have a fantastic real-life story for you that will make everything about elections crystal clear. So let's travel back in time a little. Our story starts in 1987, in the state of Haryana. There was a leader named Chowdhury Lal, and he started something called the Naya Youth Movement. You know what that means? It means struggle for justice. He was challenging the big, powerful Congress Party, and he had a really clever plan to win the people's hearts.
See how simple that was? First, Devi Lal made a huge promise. He told all the farmers and small businessmen, vote for me and I'll wipe out all your loans. Now the people, they were pretty tired of the old government, so they absolutely loved this idea. So what do you think they did? Exactly. They voted for him in massive numbers. His party, Lok, won a whopping 76 out of 90 seats. And you know the best part? He actually kept his promise. This story is just the perfect example of how your vote, your one vote, has the power to bring real, actual change.
That Haryana story actually brings up a very important question, doesn't it? Why do we even go through all this trouble of having elections? I mean, wouldn't it be easier if we all just made the decisions together, all the time? Well, let's think about that for a second.
Just imagine trying to get all 140 crore people in India to agree on a single law. It would be total chaos, right? That's exactly why direct democracy, where every single person votes on every single issue, just doesn't work in a huge country like ours. So instead, we have representative democracy. We choose a smaller group of people, our MPs and MLAs, to represent us and make those big decisions for us. And how do we choose them? You got it, through elections. It's really the only practical way to make our voices heard. Okay, bachas, pens and notebooks out. This next part is super important. A pakka 5-mark question for your exam. If you see the question, what makes an election democratic, you'll know exactly what to write. So let's go through the 5 golden points.
First, everyone over 18 gets one vote, and my vote is just as important as your vote. Simple, right? Second, we need to have a real choice. I mean, imagine going to an ice cream shop and there's only one flavor. Boring. It's the same with elections. Third, elections have to happen regularly. In India, how often is that? Every 5 years. Perfect. Fourth, the winner is simply the person with the most votes, no arguments. And finally, and this is crucial, the whole process has to be free and fair. No cheating, no fear. See? 5 simple points for 5 marks. You've totally got this.
You know, I just love this analogy. It's something you all can really relate to. Think of politicians as students. Every 5 years, they have to sit for a big exam. Their answer sheet is all the work they've done and all the promises they've made. And guess who the teachers are, grading them? We are, the voters. Our votes are the marks that decide if they pass and get to govern again, or if they fail and have to try again next time.
So, we know the why and the what of democratic elections. Now let's get into the how. I mean, how does a country as massive and diverse as India manage to pull off the biggest election in the entire world? Let's take a little peek under the hood of our amazing election system.
Okay, so to make this huge task manageable, India is divided into smaller areas, kind of like pieces of a giant jigsaw puzzle. Each of these areas is called a constituency. So if you live in a particular constituency, you vote to elect one person to represent your specific area. Just look at this map here. This shows you exactly what I'm talking about. For the big national elections, the Lok Sabha elections, India is divided into 543 constituencies. That means we elect 543 members of parliament, or MPs. Each one of those little colored areas on the map get to send one person to Delhi to be their voice in the government.
Now, the people who wrote our Constitution, they were really smart. They knew that in a country as diverse as India, some groups might get left behind or their voices might not be heard. So to make sure everyone has a seat at the table, they came up with the brilliant idea of reserved constitutions. In these special areas, only people from the scheduled castes, or SCs, or scheduled tribes, or STs, can stand for elections. This makes sure that their communities are properly represented in our parliament.
Now, for your exams, these are some numbers you absolutely have to remember. So out of those 543 seats in the Lok Sabha, how many are reserved for the scheduled castes, or SCs? The number is 84. Make a note of that, beta. 84.
And for the scheduled tribes, or STs, there are 47 reserved seats. These numbers are so important because they show how our country actively tries to make our democracy fair and inclusive for absolutely everyone.
All right, now let's get to the most fun and noisy part of elections, the campaigns. This is when things get really exciting, with all the rallies, the speeches, and of course, lots and lots of big promises. Let's see what that's all about.
Have a look at these cartoons. They're brilliant, aren't they? The first one is my absolute favorite. It shows the voter telling the politician, "You may have all your promises, but I have the vote." It's such a great reminder of who holds the real power in a democracy. The second one is a little bit cheeky, showing the politician running away with a bag full of promises. It kind of makes you wonder if all those promises are actually meant to be kept.
You know, a really catchy slogan can make all the difference in an election. Think about some of these famous ones from our history. Garibi Hatao, which means remove poverty, was a super powerful promise from the Congress Party back in 1971. And after the emergency, the Janata Party came up with Save Democracy. These short, punchy phrases are designed to grab your attention and tell you exactly what the party stands for in just a few words.
So, with all this competition and so much at stake, you definitely need someone to make sure that everyone plays by the rules. Just like in a cricket match, right? You need an umpire who is totally fair and impartial. Well, in the big game of Indian elections, our umpire is the Election Commission.
And let me tell you, our Election Commission is not just any umpire. It's one of the most powerful and independent election bodies in the entire world. They don't take orders from anyone, not even the government. And this independence is the secret ingredient, the magic formula that makes our elections so credible and respected all over the globe.
So, what are these superpowers of the Election Commission? Well, for starters, they control absolutely everything from the moment the election is announced to the final results. They have a strict rulebook called the Model Code of Conduct, and if anyone breaks the rules, they get punished. They can even tell the government what to do during election time. And get this, if they think there was any cheating at a polling booth, they can just say, "Nope, do it again," and order a re-poll. Now that is what you call real power.
Phew, we've covered a lot today, haven't we? Now, before we finish, let's do a super quick rapid-fire revision to make sure you remember everything. Are you ready? Cello, let's go.
Okay, let's play a little matching game. Universal adult franchise. What does that match with? That's right, everyone 18 and older has the right to vote. Next, representation of weaker sections. How do we do that? Through reservation of seats for SCs and STs. Perfect! What about open political competition? It means anyone can form a party or contest elections. And finally, one vote, one value. That's ensured by making sure all constituencies have roughly the same population. See? You're already an expert.
And that's it. We've covered everything you need to know about electoral politics for your exam. I am so proud of how hard all of you are working. Just stay calm, do your absolute best, and remember everything we talked about today, you are going to do great. All the very best, Beta. Go make me proud.